and welcome back to Kerbal Space Program. Well, let's head over to the tracking station to get a little update of what's going on here. When last we left, we had the heavy crap. I believe Jebediah Kerman is aboard, orbiting Kerbal, excuse me, in an orbit that is 93 kilometers at the low point and 692 kilometers at the high point. A rather elliptical and long-term orbit, but it is an orbit. Meanwhile, we have the Heavy Crap Mark III, which is currently on an escape trajectory out of Kerbin orbit, which, if I recall correctly, they have about 15 hours or so before, well, let's just go ahead and switch to that ship. And have a look. I believe they've got about 15 hours before they reach beyond Kerbin orbit. They do have something of a pickle of a situation, and you can tell that the guys are not thrilled about this. And so we have to look at what the situation is. They have 2.5 tanks of fuel remaining in their upper stage, so they have plenty of Delta V. And let's see, they reach Kerbin escape in 15 hours and 46 minutes. Now, we've gone over the situation with mission control and the decision makers, and they have stated that exploration is a good idea, but this ship is hardly prepared for such a mission. It doesn't even have RCS thrusters, even though it's carrying a boatload of RCS fuel. And so, they are not authorized to go beyond the orbit of Minmus. Although exactly what anyone's going to do about it if they decide to go beyond Minmus, I mean, they're going to be a little bit out of reach for any kind of punishment. So, we don't know about that. But, all things considered, the guys are thinking about it, and they're willing to do a Minmus orbit to have a look at this strange body in orbit around Kerbin. And so we're going to attempt to alter this orbital path so that it becomes a Minmus encounter. The ship has plenty of Delta V for that, and let's see. Make sure I have precision controls on. Okay. And let's see. This bear doesn't turn very quickly because of that lack of thrusters. But we're going to put it in a retrograde position, like so. And then very gingerly apply a little bit of thrust and see what that does to our projected course. What's that doing to that? It's increasing the escape time. That's good. Slowing down their approach to escape, and it's curving it around. Now, if we can just get it to intersect with Minmus orbit, we might be able to arrange a Minmus encounter. Failing that, we can just simply... Alright. We now have a return trajectory. It would need to be altered a little bit to have an actual periapsis. Apoapsis 64 million kilometers. Minmus is at 46 million. All right, let's thrust a little bit more. Well, that takes it out to Minmus orbit, or close to it. Question is, where will Minmus be when it gets there? Well, let's see. We can get this beast to roll around a little bit. Actually, more towards prograde. And see if we can bring this orbit around to one that will encounter Minmus. If not, we'll just arrange to bring these guys home and come up with a ship that has a better chance of actually reaching Minmus, and who knows, perhaps even landing on it. Okay. I really should have put thrusters on this thing. I meant to, but I got so distracted and didn't think of it. Come on. Since the last video, I have upgraded a little bit. I've installed a couple of mod packs. Specifically, I have the KW Rocketry pack and the Nova Punch pack. So that will increase considerably the potential in designs. I have to do this maneuvering and moving around very gradually because the ship doesn't have thrusters. It makes it really hard to turn. Now, I'm thinking if I can just thrust a little bit above the velocity vector, and that's what this green marker is, the velocity vector. It shows you the direction that your velocity is taking you. Okay, come on. All right. Right about there. And hopefully the SAS torque will stop the rotation. Okay, now a little bit of thrust. See if we can't change the orbit and move the apoapsis. I'm thinking a little bit this way. And see if we get a Minmus encounter. Okay, no. Let's see if try again. Get about halfway between the prograde velocity vector and the retrograde vector, so that we're kind of pointing that way. And push the orbit around. Now let's see what this does. It's moving it. Ho, 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 ho. Cut the engines. We have a Minmus encounter in 1 day, 8 hours. They are on course for Minmus. I had the right idea. I was thinking to move it that way, but I ended up moving it this way, which turned out to be the right thing. Okay, guys, you're on the way to Minmus. You don't look very happy about that. You're not going out of the system anymore. You got plenty of fuel you could actually return. Honestly, if this ugly beast had strong enough legs on it, it might actually be able to land. Who knows? We might try that anyway. In the meanwhile, let's go ahead and get back to the Space Center. And let's see what else we can come up with. Ah, yes, the Heavy Crap Mark III. A ship that very dearly needs thrusters, which I'm going to put in now while I'm thinking about it. Command and control. See, there's a whole crap load of new parts. I'm going to go ahead and put a couple of thruster quads on. And then I'm going to do some more than that. Let's put, no. Put that up a little bit. Put a couple of tanks of fuel on here. And let's see what we come up with for a reasonable descent engine. Because this ship could actually make a decent lander and return ship. Let's see. Thrust is 20. I can just see taking off from Minimus with 1200 max thrust. Let's see what else we've got here. Most of these are way too big for Minimus. Let's see. I haven't had much opportunity to look at most of this. Thrust 35. Let's try this. Pop that sucker on there. And we'll drop over here. Yeah, here we are. Put some lander's legs on this thing. And let's get a decoupler. And no. Actually, it'll be appropriate considering it's hooking up to this. Now the upper portion of Heavy Crap Mark III is now a very tall lander with loads of RCS. Speaking of RCS, let's adjust where they're at. We have this one. Can we put them up here? Yes, good. Now we just take these, line them up with those, and put them down there. I don't expect these guys will go EVA on this trip. But wait a minute, maybe. We might manage that. Where's the crew hatch? Up here. Let's see. Try to line it up with the other ladder, or maybe just put it like so. And on Minmus, low gravity, an EVA pack would enable them to jump up to, or just jumping would get them up there to get into that. So that sounds decent. All right. The Heavy Craft Mark IV. This is the Minmus Lander version. So we'll see about that. I think it might actually work. And given that it has RCS thrusters, and let's put some more on here. Matter of fact, just copy these, and that's Alt-click on them, and it copies them. And then scroll wheel down without moving the mouse, so that way they're directly lined up. And then do it again, and put them on here as well. The ship will now be a whole lot more controllable. Save that. All right, let's launch this thing and see what happens. Okay, we have Siegfried, Sherford, and Herring Kerman going to be our intrepid explorers, taking the trip to be the first Kerbals to actually walk around on Minmus. The other guys might get there, and well, they will get there, and they'll orbit and so on, but they're not really equipped to land. This ship is. Okay. Precision controls on, and SAS on, and let's do this. My staging wasn't quite right, but it's not disastrous. We're off to a reasonable start. This design has proven to be fairly stable in the past in its last flight, so let's see. Although it looks a little shaky. Oops. Inadvertent staging. Cut, engine, stage again, hit the parachute. Pilot error. Somebody hit staging again. Well, just as well, staging needs to be fixed in the VAB. Alright. Cannot time compress. Well, they should survive this, but then again, there's no guarantees. That parachute is somewhat worrying. It waits to the last second to open up. Okay. I'm going to start speeding up the video on sections like this where we're just waiting for a parachute recovery to land, because it takes too long. All right, safe landing. Okay, we'll go ahead and end the flight. Head back to the VAB. And let's do something about our staging. Well, I don't know what these are, but they don't need to be down there. First thing that needs to, let's bring this thing up out of the floor. All right, first thing that needs to fire is the boosters. First stage engine, that's good. And now let's see. What is this decoupling? Oh, no. No wonder. This decoupler is that one. They're in the wrong order. So we need to bring this one down here. This one needs to go up there. That's better. Now this engine, let's see, wait a minute. Let's get another stage here. And let's see. Yeah, this is the radial decouplers for the SRBs. So we'll bring them down here. And then this engine we'll bring down here to fire up when this decoupler goes. There, that should be better. Now we should have a better launch, and so on. So let's go ahead and save this, and launch it, and find out. Yes, clear the debris. I don't know why that question is asked. It doesn't make any sense to me. I mean, why wouldn't I want the debris cleared? Okay. Precision controls, SAS. Got an awful lot of wobble going on here. Let's launch this thing. Throttle up and go. A good launch, but it's wanting really bad to tip over. Seems to be okay right now. I certainly don't want to go turning the SAS off. These boosters in a bit. Okay, this seems to be working a little better. No, I don't think so. We're top heavy. That's all there is to it. We're top heavy. We're going to abort this. All right. Now let's end the flight. Head back to the VAB.